You know guys, before I start today's video, I just want to give out a quick disclaimer to everybody out there just so you know what to expect in today's video, because I feel like there's a lot of very slow people out there that, I don't know, they can't wait a couple of minutes. So let me just tell you, man, we're gonna talk about the community's trust towards Activision and Call of Duty. We're gonna talk about some of the good things that are coming to Black Ops 7, because there are some good things just as a fact, and dare I say, some undertones of politics in today's video, but it's not going to be something too jarring. It's something that you would absolutely expect from a greedy fucking corporation like Activision. And we're going to get into all of it right now, but before we do, guys, I'm going to need you to bitch slap the like button right now, like the Dodgers in Game 7. Oh man, you love to see the home team win. So fly in this bitch. And subscribe if you're new, guys, down in the comments below. Hashtag F7. We are on the way to 70,000 subscribers. We're super close to 65K. Remember, at 65K, we're giving away a free copy of Battlefield 6. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this shit with a tweet that comes out from the Ghost of Hope. Report: I spoke to several Call of Duty developers who say the recent price increase for Game Pass from $19.99 to $29.99 is a positive for the Call of Duty studios. Financially, this will be a win for them as individuals because it will lead to more revenue, which means they are more in control of their future and what they can achieve. There is also a lot more financial upside with bonuses and such if they are successful now. The news of a price increase also means they need to rely on making games that sell more units to achieve these bonuses. The vibe in Activision with regards to Black Ops 7 is pretty positive at the moment. A few months ago, the executive team was not happy, and now they are feeling better. Let me just start by stating the obvious. Okay, if the developers are feeling better about their product and their working conditions, then I don't have any problem with that. I think that's actually a good thing. And I understand this doesn't really fit with the whole narrative that, oh my god, Fooly channel, nothing but negativity, man. Dude has nothing positive to say. I'm a fucking virgin. Yeah, man, wow, who would have thought a human being has compassion for a different human being that is seeing the upsides in life? Wow, man, what a concept. It's almost like I'm not one of the people that's just going around being like, oh my god, dude, if you don't like Jake Paul in the Replacer commercial for Call of Duty, that means you have depression. Right, and this channel is the one that's spreading negativity to society. Anyways, guys, this is where the slight undertones of politics really comes in, and I don't like talking about politics. I don't like talking about capitalism and all these other topics because, unfortunately, there's a lot of people here that honestly are very, very pro-business. Okay, they're very pro-corporation, whether they believe it or not, and it's just a slippery slope, but thankfully, it's not too much, alright? It's not very jarring. Guys, this has anti-consumerism, capitalism, and greedy corporation written all over it. First of all, hearing from people in said business and corporation that a price increase is good for everybody, I mean, are we fucking surprised hearing some shit like that? I mean, what else would you expect?
We need to stay away from these niggas.
However, what's really upsetting me here is the fact that, unfortunately, it's being translated to these developers from Activision that they need to sell more units because if they do, then this price hike that is happening on Game Pass will be to their benefit as employees because Activision, the big greedy guys at the top with billions upon billions of dollars, will give them bonuses. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if your incentive for making a better game that could possibly sell more and be more successful, if the incentive there is that you're going to get a bonus and you're going to get more money out of it, I'm sorry, but that has anti-consumerism all over it. It's almost like these guys are not being paid fairly. Except, I'm gonna be straight up, man. If you're working on a AAA franchise, you either need to be getting paid very handsomely, or if you're not, then the people above you are a bunch of greedy porky bitches, which has been my claim since the goddamn start. So to everybody else out there that thinks I'm just hating to hate, no, I genuinely have this deep-rooted disdain for Activision because I don't believe in these sort of practices. I am not about it whatsoever. We're not talking about an indie studio that needs to make more money because they're a fucking indie studio and they actually do need the support. We're not talking about a mom and pop shop on the fucking corner. We're not talking your local businesses out here, man. We're talking about Activision. You mean to tell me that if Activision increases their prices for their fucking games, that their employees are going to get paid more if the game succeeds? You realize these people have billions of fucking dollars. What do you mean this is the condition under which their employees will be paid more? Obviously, to the common folk out there, I mean, it equates very easily. For a business, it makes sense. You make more money, you can spend more money on your employees. I'm sorry, the difference here is that we're talking about a multi-billion fucking dollar corporation. And to the people in the comments and any other content creator that has a response to this, that has something to say along the lines of, oh man, it's a $10 price increase, we're not really gonna notice much about it, I don't really care. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's just basic human nature that once your incentive begins to be more about getting more money and not actually trying to make a better product for your community, you begin going down this rabbit hole where now we're actually talking about disingenuous creations out here, alright? Oh, wait. This should be very interesting for the people that have criticism about rage baiters and shit like that. We only care about the money, we don't actually care about Call of Duty, right? Well, this guy is staring you right in the face, and so are the other people at Activision just looking at you because, I'm sorry, but you're simply fighting the wrong fight. Now, as if it wasn't obvious enough that a lot of people were going to have a problem with this, and people were just going to call this shit out because it's worth calling out because it's fucking stupid, I decided to take it upon myself to try to look at this from a different perspective, okay? When we're talking about a game like Black Ops 7, a lot of people out there genuinely do appreciate the positive changes that have been made recently. And this might come as a shocker to a lot of people, but one of those guys is me. You know, guys, I'm gonna admit something here, alright? It should come as no shocker, but this channel has quite a bit of critical content towards certain franchises, certain video games. I don't know which game in particular, but obviously I've stated this before. Call of Duty has been a game that I almost entirely grew up on. And I god honestly did love this franchise, but over the last few years, I've seen this franchise take a turn that I really genuinely dislike. One of the biggest problems with the current gen Call of Duty games was SBMM. I've talked about SBMM several times on this fucking channel in great depth. I've talked about how it is anti-consumerism. I've talked about how it has capitalistic undertones. I've talked about how there's manipulation in there, and it's not just making sure that the best player can't shit on noobs. No, it goes significantly deeper than that, especially when you get the implications for what it means for money for Activision. Yeah, I've been against skill-based matchmaking for a minute. The day they announced they were going to be reducing it for the beta, I was actually very surprised and very happy about that. Now, for the launch, seeing as how they're making that change permanent, and it's not just a playlist, and they're removing disbanding lobbies as well as several other things that you've heard from these dev talks where they're actually talking about like the UI and the progression and the anti-cheat and the aim assist problems. All of these things sound very, very good to me. Let me repeat it for the short bus riding morons that are still drooling in the back seats talking about, "Oh, they are nothing positive, they're just disingenuous, lying and manipulating."
The right to say what we want.
Shut
when
the
you think about
fuck
it.
up!
Listen up, you toothless, drooling caveman. From the dev talks that we've gotten over the last month and a half to all of these big foundational changes like disbanding lobbies and SBMM and the anti-cheat and all these other things that I've been complaining about for months and years, I'm going to tell you that I am genuinely pleased with the direction this franchise is finally going in, assuming that this is actually permanent and successful. But here's the thing, even with these changes, remember what we just talked about at the start of this video. We're talking about a greedy, disgusting corporation where the consumers and community are not in their best interest. What is in their best interest? Money. And when you operate your franchise like that in the golden age of social media where people are finally giving out their opinions in significantly greater amounts than they used to back in the day, you're gonna get a lot of people that simply don't have trust for this corporation or this franchise any longer. And here is Exhibit A. I put out a poll yesterday and I said, after some great changes, is Black Ops 7 worth buying or pre-ordering? I gave 3 options here. Yes, COD is back. It's better, but still not worth it. and there have been no great changes. And of like 6,000 votes, and this is just a small tiny sample obviously, it's pretty obvious where the majority of people are. They seemingly believe there has been no great changes in Call of Duty. Obviously this is going to be due to a bunch of factors. Some people are trolling, some people are exaggerating, and some people like the picture of Bobby Cosby that I put up. I'm going to tell you where I lean more towards. I lean more towards it's better but still not worth it. And the reason it's not worth it is something you're about to see in some of the comments that I'm about to share. The community does not have trust that this corporation is actually acting in their best interest, because they just haven't shown you that for like 6-7 years straight, and for a lot of people even beyond that. So while I at least can acknowledge that these changes have been net positives, like they are genuinely really good changes, I'm not surprised that people still don't want to pre-order or buy. I'm not gonna sit here like a dumbass and say things like, oh dude, you guys are just hating to hate, man.
Uh-oh, retard alert!
No, that's like an invitation for you to try to understand how people could still possibly view this negatively after so many positive changes, and the answer is obvious as shit. Mr. Bizzle B says, more importantly, why were the changes needed, and why only when their pocketbooks are getting hit that's the only time they want to make changes after years of their community telling them concerns. Shady as fuck in my opinion, and they'll convert back to the shenanigans as soon as they get their launch money. I'ma call it now. This guy named Zeus Skills says, the changes are good, but they already lost too much trust. I'm sure even Fooly would agree these changes make the game better, but people have already lost interest by now. And I'm gonna be straight up, yes, it is absolutely a lot to do with the trust that people don't have anymore for a franchise that has done them dirty for so many years. This guy Cody Clark says they've had since 2019 to fix these issues. If they fixed them earlier, the franchise would have been in a much better state. Them only fixing these issues when Battlefield 6 released is a clear sign that they don't care. They're just trying to combat their competition. And again, I completely understand, and as these comments and several other people's comments online have indicated, it's not even necessarily that they dislike the game or they dislike the developers, it's that they dislike Activision, man. They dislike how anti-community and anti-consumerism they've become, specifically in the last few years especially. And even though it's kind of sad to say that this game is probably going to be one of the better Call of Duty games in years, I completely understand why people will not be giving them the benefit of the doubt. I completely understand why there's not going to be a second chance here. I completely understand why people are still being negative online. It's because they've literally had their time wasted for years, and the only reason Activision is actually budging now is for a couple of reasons. It's because their competition is literally taking a shit in their mouths. It's because people stopped pre-ordering, and the sentiment online has been almost entirely fucking negative. And again, while I and all these other people can acknowledge that these changes have been very, very good, it doesn't take away the fact that you've already lost the trust of so many people in the community. And just for the full circle moment, them talking about how they're going to pay their developers more if the game costs more and is so successful that they earn bonuses for how much they sell. Yeah, for the developers, I'm sure that bonus check at the end of the year is going to look pretty fucking good, and trust me, it is well deserved, but not for this reason. They should be getting paid more by default by the multi-billion-dollar corporation that truly does not give a flying fuck about you, about me, about anybody out there that's complaining about rage baiters over complaining about fucking Activision. Activision does not care. And for their carelessness, motherfuckers are gonna be negative online, man. It's obvious. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this. What are your thoughts on everything we talked about in today's video? Activision's greed, the community sentiment, the positive changes in Call of Duty. Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos. And yeah, guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Peace.